Another person is dead at the hands of a police officer, this time in the heart of Hollywood, California. The shooting happened last night in front of dozens of tourists. The LAPD was called to an intersection at Hollywood Boulevard and Highland Avenue around 6:45 last night after reports of an assault with a deadly weapon. When officers arrived on the scene, they say a man with a knife approached them and officers shot him. The man was taken to the hospital in critical condition where he later died. None of the officers was injured. The sister of an American hostage in Yemen now says her brother, photojournalist Luke Summers, has been killed. Lucy Summers says FBI agents told the family that Luke was killed during a failed rescue attempt. The 33-year-old was abducted in the capital of Yemen in September of last year. The Pentagon has confirmed a failed rescue attempt earlier this week. An early morning fire sent fire crews to a home near downtown Nashville. One person was displaced after something caught on fire in the kitchen of the home on Joe Johnston Avenue around 3:30 this morning. Firefighters were able to keep the fire contained to just the kitchen. There's no word yet on what caused the fire. A 2-hour standoff between a SWAT team and a man in Cheatham County is now finally over. News Channel 5's Cuthbert Langley is here in the studio with us this morning with more. So, Cuthbert, how did this all start?
Hey, good morning, Jennifer. Right now, police are still investigating as to exactly what happened. But what we know right now is that the suspect, Daryl Clark, began arguing with his live-in girlfriend around 7 o'clock last night. Now, when the girlfriend threatened to call police, that's when they say Clark threatened her. He wouldn't let his girlfriend leave the home, and as well with her toddler there who was during this entire situation as well. But somehow the girlfriend was able to sneak in a 911 phone call to police. The SWAT team came to the scene once authorities realized Clark actually had weapons in his home as well. But while he was out smoking a cigarette several hours later, that's when the SWAT team swarmed the house and took Clark into custody. He is booked right now in the Cheatham County Jail, charged with domestic assault and false imprisonment. Thankfully, though, nobody was hurt. Clark is expected to face a judge early next week. Jennifer?
Cuthbert, thank you. There are 2 new names on the state's most wanted list. The TBI put out an alert last night for 44-year-old Lonnie Lee Vann. He's wanted for an armed robbery yesterday in La Follette. He was last seen driving a white Chevy Captiva with a Maryland plate reading 2BC 6411. Police believe he is heavily armed and should be considered extremely dangerous. Also added to the list last night, 18-year-old Gabriel Lindsay, who's wanted on several charges, including first-degree murder. Knoxville police say he killed a man during a drive-by shooting back in October. Lindsay's a member of a street gang, and police say he should be considered armed and dangerous. A Belmont University student says he lost his job as a resident assistant after recording a conversation between himself and the university's president. Daniel Zidell, a junior at Belmont, says he first met with University President Bob Fisher weeks ago to discuss some concerns he had about the university. After what Zidell calls a tense conversation between the two met again, and this time Zidell recorded their conversation but did not notify Fisher that that's what he was doing. Yet once administrators found out, Zidell says he was fired as an RA, although he had not broken any rules or regulations.
And I thought that it would protect me or ultimately help me from getting in trouble, but as we can see, that didn't necessarily play out that way.
University officials say the school has the right to fire employees if their conduct does not fall in line with the school's values and principles. Despite mounting opposition, plans are moving forward to convert a metro school into a charter. Next Friday, the district will choose between Neely's Bend and Madison Middle Schools. Lead Public Schools will manage the charter conversion next year. They'll start with the 5th grade and then add a grade each year after that. That means the decision will affect current 4th graders. Whichever school is not picked for the conversion, though, they will not be off the hook. The principal at that school will have to reapply for his or her job, and teachers there will have to score at least a 3 on their evaluations to keep theirs. Both middle schools are some of the poorest performing in the state. Meanwhile, parents at Kirkpatrick Elementary in East Nashville have received a letter giving them more details about that school's transformation into a charter. The letter reiterated the fact that only kindergarten and 1st graders will be affected next year at the school. KIPP will then take over an additional grade each year until it takes over the entire school. An informational meeting will be held at the school on Monday, December 15th at 4 p.m. Well, despite the rain and lots of traffic, the Christmas season was officially welcomed in Nashville last night. Music City's tree at the Public Square Plaza was unveiled last night. The 38-foot Norway spruce is covered in 5,000 lights. And the 61st annual Nashville Christmas Parade followed the tree lighting. And the rain kept many parade goers huddled under umbrellas as they watched. Road closures and the rain and the traffic created some major headaches for many of the folks trying to get to the events. But those who made it there told us the weather wasn't going to keep them away.
Well, he's former military. He's used to all kinds of weather. I just roll with the punches.
It's exactly that. It's a tradition, so everybody looks forward to it. I mean, there are people that, whether it's a comment on our parade website or the Facebook page, that goes decades and decades back from people's memories. So
the city's Christmas tree will remain on display throughout the holidays.